Hello my Vikings and welcome back to the channel. Today we paint the Serpent Caller from the Splintered Fang Warcry set. We're going to start things off with some Darkoath Flesh. This is going to go on his legs, the lower half of his face, his arms and chest. Looking at the model, there's actually not a whole lot of skin exposed on him. A lot of it is covered up by the kind of leathery and tunic sections. So we're going to cover up what we can, and then touch it up with a little bit of wash later. Now we're going to use some Basilicanum Grey, and this is going to touch up just a couple of little areas on the model. There's actually not a whole lot of metal here. So we're going to touch up the headdress and all the points of his little darts. Now we're going to use some Militarum Green. We're going to coat the backs of the two snakes, as well as some of the snakeskin leather sections on his tunic. When I started doing this for the snakeskin, I was trying to remember how I did some dragon ogres that I painted a while ago. And I actually got the process backwards. I did this one with the Militarum Green and then followed it up with Snakebite leather. I should have done it the other way. Start with the Snakebite leather and then follow it with the Militarum. But live and learn, right? So after thinking it over, I decided to also paint his hood in the Militarum Green, as well as the rest of his tunic. Kind of like he was wearing a greenish snakeskin set of clothing. Now I'm taking care not to touch his face mask with this because I want to do that in a different color. Alright, while that's drying, we're going to use Snakebite leather on the belly of both of the snakes. So, I didn't look at a whole lot of images of snakes before painting this, but the couple that I did look at, there is a distinct color difference between the top and bottom of a lot of different kinds of snakes. So I kind of wanted to replicate that here. There's a lot of little nooks and crannies for the snakes to get painted on this, so when you paint yours, make sure you're not missing an area. Last thing you want to do is go through, paint the whole model, and then realize at the end that you missed a spot. So we're going to paint the inside of his lower tunic with the Snakebite leather, and also we're going to edge it with the Snakebite leather. Quick touch of his belt. And while we're at it, we're going to paint the hand wraps on all of the darts. Alright, now that those are done, we're going to grab some Flesh Terror's Red. Now this is going to be used on all of the feathers for the darts, and we're also going to use it to paint a little bit of a ridge spine for the two snakes. This will just give a little bit of a color contrast for them and kind of make them stand out a little bit more. So now we're going to use Retributor Armour to touch up his face mask and the front of his belt. We're also going to use it for a couple other little details, like the tops of the little canisters here and the heads of the darts. Now the canister on his belt is supposed to be for like a poison vial, so I wanted it to be a little bit ornate but not super intricate. So moving back to the Snakebite leather, we're going to touch over all of the green that we painted on for the scaly sections. This will help mute the green and give a little bit of different coloration of green for the rest of the model. As you can see, it does dull it, but it doesn't mute it entirely. So it is still green, but it's a slightly different shade of green now. Quick touch on the headdress. And now we're going to use Balthasar Gold to paint some of the details on his belt and the poison vial. There's this little kind of intricate jeweled thing hanging off the back of his belt, so we're touching that as well. So now we're going to use Reikdand Fleshshade for all of his skin tones. This will help darken them just a little bit and help all the shadowed areas pop out. So now we're going to use some Agrax Earthshade, and we're going to use that on all of the green and all of the snakes. This will give all of the kind of greenish leather a kind of earthy tone to it. And now we're going to do a little bit of a dry brush with Celestra Grey. Now this is going to be used on the snakes and the scaly leather tunic, just to kind of give it a little bit of a highlight and a slightly different look to it. And here we are with the finished piece. Alright everyone, so this was the Serpent Caller from the Splintered Fang Warcry battle team, soon to be featured here on the channel in our East City battle zone. Thank you all for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe for future content, comment in that comment section, and this is CS the Viking Gamer signing off. Stay classy everyone, and we will see you next time.